Hello everyone, this is Bodhi, and welcome back to another episode on the Cornerstone SMP. I hope you all enjoyed that little opening time-lapse. Not something I do very often, but sometimes it's a cool way to start the episode. But if you're wondering what that was actually a very simple little flower farm that we built up pretty quickly, actually. That was a flower farm from Logical Geek Boy's Simply Minecraft series, and I will have it linked in the description down below. But it's pretty cool because it allowed us to get our hands on this, a bunch of cornflowers. Now, we're going to need these pretty soon because we want to use the blue dye to make cyan terracotta, among other things. And blue dye is something that we don't have easy access to, and I don't want to waste my lapis on that, so I decided to build a flower farm. And so we got that done at the start of today's episode, and that is looking great. But today's episode is time for us to start working on our Star Wars themed mega base. So we are going to head over to the area that we are going to be building that at. But first, before we do that, let's take a trip over to the shopping district because we haven't checked on our profits in quite a while. Okay, so we are at our first shop right here, and let's see if we've made any profits off of bones or coal. Nothing from coal. Ooh, we made 10 diamonds from bones, though. That's pretty nice. Next up, we have our beacon shop over here. I'm not sure if we've sold any of these. Okay, 2 diamond blocks, not too bad. Let's just make those diamonds for now. And then our last shop over here is actually the end shop where we sell shulker shells. We're out of stock of elytras right now, so those are not being sold. But we sell shulker shells, none in here. And okay, we've made 6 diamonds off of that. And that's about it for our shops, but we made 34 diamonds, so that is not too shabby at all. So I'll go ahead and throw those in my ender chest, and we can go head over to the place where our base is gonna be. Okay, so this portal we're standing in front of will take us through to our new area for our new base. But I think before we head through, we're gonna need a change of clothes, and that's why I've taken all of my armor off. So let me really quickly do that, and then we'll head on to the new area. Okay, perfect. We got our new skin now, and we are now ready to head on in to the brand new area that we're going to be building at. So let's hop through the portal here. Alright, so here we are at this brand new location that is going to serve as a perfect spot to build our brand new base. Now, I mentioned very briefly in the last episode that we were going to be building a Star Wars themed base, but I didn't give any specifics or details, so let's talk a little bit about that before we start the building. Basically, I am going to be constructing Echo Base from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. If you haven't seen the movie, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend any person go and watch the entire Star Wars series if they haven't seen it. But that is besides the point. Basically, this is a base that is carved into a giant snowy mountain that the Rebel Alliance uses to hide from the Empire. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, you probably don't understand what my skin is either. So, basically, this is an X-Wing pilot suit. And so that means that it's a pilot who flies a certain type of ship that I will show on the screen right now. But yeah, so we're going to be building this base, but we're not going to be starting things off by building the base inside the mountain because there's a lot of other aspects that go into this. We're basically going to be reconstructing the entire battle scene that goes on here on the snowy planet of Hoth. So we're also going to have to be turning this into a completely barren, snowy wasteland. So we're going to have to remove any signs of life like the trees or the village or anything like that. We're even going to want to get rid of these grass patches here and just replace it all with snow to get the effect that we're going for. But what we're going to be starting off with building today is the shield generator. And I'll show a picture of that on the screen right now. And basically, we might have to fix this area up a little bit and tear down some of the mountains to be later replaced by our own custom mountains. Because this build that we're going to be doing today is actually quite large. I have been working pretty hard to come up with my own design in creative mode over the past few weeks, and I'm finally ready to build it in survival, and I'm super excited to get it done. So I'm going to be doing this in the form of a time-lapse, so I hope you all enjoy this building process as much as I do, and I will see you all after we're done with this first Star Wars themed build. Alright guys, the build is now completely finished after 4 to 5 hours of just grinding in this area, placing down the blocks. We finally have this thing finished, so let's take a look around this thing and check out how the building process went. And if we can just fly up here, we can take a look at this thing from a few different angles. It is pretty massive, actually. It's a pretty big build, and I really like how it came together. Like I said, I spent a while in creative planning this thing out, and I really like the design that we came up with. Now, if we take a look on the inside here, we are going to see that there is pretty much nothing in there. Oh, wow, looks like I'm lagging a little bit. Okay, so if we head on in here, there's basically nothing inside of here right now. It's just an empty space, which is completely fine, but I do definitely want to use this for something in the future. We can just sort of fly back and forth in here right now. Now, I was thinking about maybe putting like our storage system in here, but I think that would be better placed in the actual Echo base that we're going to make in the future. So in here, we probably want to have something different. I don't know, maybe we can fit some farms in here, a super smelter. I honestly have no idea, but if you guys have any ideas, be sure to let me know in the comments because I would love to hear them. Either way, we have a big space in here that we can use for something. And yeah, as you can see, it doesn't exactly look great from the inside either, which is something that we'll work on in the future as well. But building this thing definitely took a long time. But there is one thing that I wanted to show you guys that I found out while I was building this thing. So, as you can see, this thing is constructed of a lot of different circles, or just like, a bunch of circles put together, and there's like 4 main sections. Now, building circles in Minecraft is a bit of a drag because you have to place a lot of blocks on the diagonals from each other. So, what I decided to do after building this first one was use a mod that I have never actually used before, but I've seen some other YouTubers use it. If anyone has watched any videos by Ilmango, they'll probably recognize this. Anyway, it is a mod that lets you place blocks on the diagonals from blocks like so. And that came in super handy, basically sped up the building process by a crazy amount, and I'm super thankful that I was able to figure out how to use that and put it to use. Now, there's tons of other things that this mod used, but or the mod does, but this is the main thing that I was using, so I can just place the blocks on diagonals like that. Really helped with building the circles. This mod is called Tweakeroo, and I will have the link in the description if anyone wants to use this. It has a bunch of super useful features for building and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I'm super glad that I found this mod. Anyway, now that this thing is done being built, it's definitely not done in this area because we need to make it blend in a little bit better with the surroundings. And also, that brings me on to discussing what we're going to do with this whole area overall. So, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to take out a whole lot of this hill and this mountain right here, because this area we want more to be flat, and then we're going to be building a bunch of our own custom mountains, like I said, in different areas. So like maybe like one over there. We're going to have like mountains surrounding the outside of this thing. And over in that direction is where the entrance to the actual base inside of a mountain that we will build up over there is going to be. So it's going to be a humongous project, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, one of the things that we might want to do right now is cover this floor in snow because right now it looks really ugly. There's like some stones, some diorite, some grass, and some random snow layers scattered around here. So I think we want to cover this in snow, but that brings us on to another issue, which is the fact that snow does not actually prevent mobs from spawning, and I think that we want to have a large area of this base to be spawn-proof. And so I think the way that we're going to have to achieve that is probably by stacking snow layers, because, for example, if you take one snow layer and if you double it up, then mobs can no longer spawn on there. So, they can spawn on a single one, but any higher than that, they cannot spawn. So I'm thinking we can have a lot of, like, different texture variation, like, with different levels of snow layers around here going on. And I think that'll be pretty cool, so we probably want to get to work on that. But the final issue that I wanted to take a look at with this thing is the spawn-proofing and snow-proofing of the top, the top of this build, because right now, as you can see, there is snow layers piling up on the top of it, and we don't want that to happen, because if you think about it, this build would really be like a large machine. It would have a lot of heat and energy coming off of it. It probably wouldn't have snow on top, so we want to get rid of the snow. Now, one of the ways to do that is to place string on the top, and that is something that is not very easy to see, and it would easily get rid of the snow, so we might go that route. But that doesn't take care of spawn proofing, and we also don't want a bunch of mobs to be spawning on top of here. We don't want to enter our base and have a creeper drop down onto us. So that also means that we could do something like use carpets. The only problem with that is I took a look at using carpets in the creative world version of this, and I'm not 100% set on using carpets because I don't know if I like the colors. So, for example, this is light gray concrete, but to use carpets, we have to use light gray wool color, which is a bit brighter than the concrete. So, it just has a little bit of a contrast that I'm not sure I like for the time being. Anyway, I think we're going to put a pin in that for this episode and leave it be until at least next episode. And we'll focus on that in the future. So for right now, let's get to work on covering this area in snow layers. I think that'll make it a lot nicer to look at if there's not a bunch of random blocks on the floor of this place. And then maybe we can fix up sort of the edges on this side here, sort of make it blend in with the terrain a little bit better. Either way, let's get to work on that and catch you guys when we are done sort of just terraforming and fixing up the environment of this place. Okay, so I put in a bunch of snow layers here, and I did this by making just sort of a makeshift snow farm down here. By using these two snowmen, I can basically just harvest a bunch of snow layers with my shovel. It's super simple. But anyway, let's take a look at how it's looking now with the snow layers in. So the thing is, on this side, I did the double snow layers. So it has two full snow layers instead of just one. So basically, this is spawn proof. But I didn't really think about how tedious that would actually be to place in two snow layers. And if we're going to do this in an area like all around our base, it's going to be really, really hard to put that all in. So on this side, I tried it with just the one snow layer. Now, obviously, this means that it's not spawn proof, so I don't know where that leaves us. But it's a lot easier to place in, and then also we could employ snowmen to help us out. Basically, if we just release a bunch of snowmen on the area we're trying to cover in snow, they'll just walk over the area and cover it in snow layers. That's cool, but they can't do it more than one tall, so that wouldn't work for this strategy here. But I'm sort of going to think about it, mull it over, along with how to deal with the top of this build. And I think we're going to mostly be done working on this project for today. So that has given us a lot to think about, but I think that that's where we're going to end off today's episode, because we've done a good amount of work today. Tons of grinding in this area to get this initial structure for the Star Wars base built up, and I can't wait to continue on this project. And there's definitely still a lot of questions to be answered. So if you guys have any ideas on how we can deal with the spawn proofing or snow proofing in different areas, I would love to hear them. Or also, if you have any ideas on what could go on the inside of this thing, I would also love to hear those in the comments down below. So definitely leave a comment with any ideas or to let me know what you think of this build. I would love to hear your guys' feedback on this build. Also, be sure to leave a like on this video if you guys did enjoy this episode and this build, and be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the content and want to see more Cornerstone episodes coming very soon. But without further ado, guys, this has been Bodhi, and I will see you all in the next episode.